Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates signed several MOUs on Monday to deepen cooperation in cultural, consular, and business sectors. Foreign Ministers Ishaq Darya and Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan signed agreements on cultural exchange and a joint consular affairs committee. They also witnessed the establishment of a UAE-Pakistan Joint Business Council. At a joint press conference, Sheikh Abdullah said bilateral ties were progressing well, with hopes to expand cooperation in trade, investment, and aviation. Sindh's Chief Minister Syed Murad Ali Shah inaugurated a large-scale polio vaccination campaign, aiming to vaccinate over 10.6 million children across the province from April 21 to 27. This campaign, which includes 2.76 million children in Karachi, is supported by 69,724 trained workers and 25,000 police personnel for safety and smooth execution. The CM reassured parents about the vaccine safety, emphasizing that it is the same vaccine used for Hajj and Umrah pilgrims. He also praised the dedication of health workers despite challenging weather conditions, announcing that water and ORS sachets would be provided to ensure their well-being. Security forces intensified their operations against militants on Monday, killing at least 11 terrorists in two separate incidents. In Mianwali's Makrowal area, a joint operation by local police and the Counter-Terrorism Department (CTD) led to the death of 10 terrorists, while one civilian was injured during crossfire. United States Vice President J.D. Vance has arrived in India for a 4-day visit, aiming to strengthen bilateral ties and discuss trade issues amid growing concerns over new U.S. tariffs. Vance met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Monday, with both leaders expected to review the progress in bilateral relations and discuss regional and global developments of mutual interest. The visit comes at a critical moment, as the Trump administration recently announced sweeping tariffs on trade partners, including a 26% levy on Indian goods. Although a 90-day pause has been announced, India is actively seeking to finalize a trade deal to avoid long-term economic fallout. The US is India's largest trading partner. Both sides are now targeting a major increase in two-way trade, aiming to cross $500 billion by 2030. Vance's trip also coincides with rising trade tensions between the US and China. India, a key member of the Quad alliance along with the US, Japan, and Australia, is seen as an important counterbalance to China's regional influence. During the visit, Vance and Modi are also expected to discuss expanding defense cooperation and boosting US exports of oil, energy, and military equipment to India. Despite growing ties, US President Trump has continued to criticize India's tariff policies, calling the country a tariff abuser. Trump is expected to attend a Quad leaders summit in India later this year. Iran says it will brief China this week ahead of a third round of indirect nuclear talks with the United States. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is scheduled to visit Beijing on Tuesday to share updates with Chinese officials. The trip follows similar consultations with Russia last week, just before Araghchi held his second round of talks with US envoy Steve Witkoff in Oman. A third round is expected this Saturday. The discussions aim to revive nuclear negotiations amid continued tensions. The US had exited the 2015 nuclear deal in 2018 under President Trump, reinstating sanctions and adopting a maximum pressure approach toward Tehran. Iran says it is keeping Russia and China informed, both former signatories of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JPOA. That deal saw Iran restrict its nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. Tehran insists its nuclear activity is for civilian purposes, though the International Atomic Energy Agency has reported enrichment levels as high as 60%. Well beyond the JPOA's 3.67% cap and near weapons grade. Meanwhile, Iran has accused Israel of trying to derail diplomacy to pave the way for military confrontation. Israel denies these claims and has reiterated its opposition to any Iranian nuclear weapons capability. Iran and China have grown closer in recent months, particularly amid the Gaza conflict. Pope Francis has died at the age of 88, the Vatican announced on Monday. The first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church passed away at 7:35 a.m. local time in Rome, following complications from double pneumonia. He had recently been hospitalized for over 5 weeks and made his final public appearance just a day earlier during Easter Mass at St. Peter's Square. Cardinal Kevin Farrell confirmed the Pope's passing in a statement on the Vatican's official channel. With his death, the Catholic Church enters a period of transition. The Pope's apartment has now been sealed, and no autopsy will be carried out, in line with tradition. A funeral is expected within 4 to 6 days, after which cardinals under the age of 80 will gather for a conclave to elect a new spiritual leader for the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Argentina, Francis became Pope in 2013. His papacy was noted for a focus on social justice, global peace, and interfaith dialogue. He visited conflict zones, spoke out on migration and climate change, and made efforts to reform the Church's image. His final address on Easter Sunday included a call for a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of hostages held by Hamas. He also met US Vice President J.D. Vance that same day. Reactions to his passing have come in from around the world. French President Emmanuel Macron called him a defender of the vulnerable. Russia has resumed large-scale attacks on Ukraine as a short Easter ceasefire came to an end. Ukraine's Air Force reported that Russian forces launched 96 drones and 3 missiles overnight, targeting the Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk, and Cherkasy regions. Air defense units intercepted 42 drones and redirected another 47. The southern city of Mykolaiv confirmed missile strikes, though no casualties or major damage were immediately reported. The renewed assault follows a 30-hour ceasefire announced by Russian President Vladimir Putin for Easter weekend, citing humanitarian reasons. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky criticized the move, calling it symbolic rather than meaningful, and urged a longer 30-day truce to allow for real progress toward peace. The United States had welcomed the temporary pause but said more was needed. President Donald Trump warned that Washington would take a pass on further mediation if no agreement was reached soon. Following the ceasefire, both sides traded accusations of violations. Ukraine said Russian forces breached the truce nearly 3,000 times, while Moscow claimed over 900 Ukrainian drone attacks during the same period. Despite the renewed violence, Trump said on Sunday he remained optimistic that a peace deal could be reached within the week.